If you want to learn how to continue a conversation more effectively in English, do not miss this video. Hello, my name's Saber, and in this video I'm going to tell you some tips and techniques on how to continue a conversation. Because starting that is easy, but continuing that more effectively might be a bit challenging. So before we dive into tips and techniques, I want you to listen to this conversation more carefully than you used to.
Oh, miserable weather, isn't it? I was in Mallorca last week and the weather was fantastic. So hot and sunny. Not like here.
Mallorca?
Yes, I was there last weekend.
Oh, what were you doing there?
My best friends just moved there and I went to visit. It was a good opportunity to practice my Spanish.
How long have you been speaking Spanish?
I haven't spoken it since I did it at school.
Did you make any embarrassing mistakes? I remember my last trip to Spain. Someone asked when I was flying back home. I wanted to say on Thursday, jueves, and guess what I said? I was going home on eggs, huevos. So you were saying, you were in Mallorca. What's it like?
It's amazing. I'd really recommend it.
It's quite touristy though, isn't it?
Well, yes, on the coast. But in the countryside, in the mountains, it's really quiet. Perfect for just walking, reading, just relaxing.
I love reading on holidays. There never seems to be enough time to read at home, don't you think?
Yes, I know what you mean. I've been reading the same book for about 2 months.
Did you pay attention how the girl started the conversation? Miserable weather, isn't it? This way the girl tried to catch the boy's attention and to open the conversation and make it more effectively and also sweet. Listen to this part again.
Oh, miserable weather, isn't it? I was in Mallorca last week and the weather was fantastic. So hot and sunny. Not like here.
Another point for saving you for a very good conversation is to ask a question so that you can get the conversation expanded. Like, what were you doing there?
Mallorca?
Yes, I was there last weekend.
Oh, what were you doing there?
Let's now go for the best tips that can help you have that good conversation. The very first tip is use any information the speaker gives you. If the speaker mentions something, continue and expand on that topic further. For example, they talk about a story, and when you feel like they're almost finished with that story, you can add your own personal story to say, oh, I have one experience just like yours. The second useful tip is echo the speaker's words. This shows that you have been listening and gives you a way to expand on something the speaker has said. For example, you use some words like really, Spain, you speak Spanish. These kinds of words that the person says and you try to repeat them. But remember, you gotta say that almost quietly so that the person won't find it impolite, as if you are jumping into their conversation. Tip number 3. Ask open-ended questions so that you don't just get a yes or no answer. That helps to keep the conversation going. Just like the question that the girl asked at the very beginning, miserable weather, isn't it? Or some types of questions, for example, you say, do you like fruits? And the person says, yes, no, finished. If the person is shy, the person will definitely give you a very short yes, no answer and finish. But if you come up with a question like, what types of fruit do you like? Then the person will continue talking about it. And next tip number 4. Ask for the speaker's opinion on something you have just said. For example, you say, "That kind of fruit is delicious, don't you think?" So in this case, you are catching a little bit of attention and you will see if they like it or not. Or you say, "I like bananas. What about you? What fruits do you like?" So this way you will make the person speak, and it is a good way of socializing. And the last tip number 5. Tell the speaker about a similar experience you have had, which I already mentioned. Somebody traveled to Spain and they are talking about it, and then you can talk about another country you visited. Like, for example, you visited Italy or a city inside the country. Let's now listen to this conversation one more time and find all those useful tips in them.
Oh, miserable weather, isn't it? I was in Mallorca last week and the weather was fantastic. So hot and sunny. Not like here.
Mallorca?
Yes, I was there last weekend.
Oh, what were you doing there?
My best friends just moved there and I went to visit. It was a good opportunity to practice my Spanish.
How long have you been speaking Spanish?
I haven't spoken it since I did it at school.
Did you make any embarrassing mistakes? I remember my last trip to Spain. Someone asked when I was flying back home. I wanted to say on Thursday, jueves, and guess what I said? I was going home on eggs, huevos. So you were saying, you were in Mallorca. What's it like?
It's amazing. I'd really recommend it.
It's quite touristy though, isn't it?
Well, yes, on the coast. But in the countryside, in the mountains, it's really quiet. Perfect for just walking, reading, just relaxing.
I love reading on holidays. There never seems to be enough time to read at home, don't you think?
Yes, I know what you mean. I've been reading the same book for about 2 months.
3 of the useful tips were used. 1. Echoing. 2. Open-minded question. And the other one was picking up on information. Let's now dive into more beautiful expressions we can find there. Alright, here we have 6 phrases we are going to complete. So the first one is, I know what you mean. This means I know, I understand you. Number 2, I remember the last time I did that trip. Remember, this means I don't forget it. It's quite a long flight, isn't it? It's a question tag we've already talked about. Number 4, guess. Guess where I had to go next. So this way you are going to make the person think in order to expand the conversation so that he or she will also share an opinion. Number 5, you were, that's right, you were saying you're going to Delhi. You were saying means, so continue. You were talking about that, right? Don't you think? Right, don't you think means do you agree? Don't you agree with me? So this is used when you want to get somebody's attention. So let me now tell you some beautiful tips which are cultural. Every time you have this conversation and you do not have some questions in order to ask them, or all these tips, you cannot do any of those, right? But at least you can use these little expressions I tell you. For example, somebody's talking and then you say, make some noise. At least make some noise. Really? How interesting. Move, alright? Try to just nod your head or shake it. You see, this can help you make it more effective. So for practice, I want you to listen to this audio recording and complete the gaps.
Hello, Oliver. Nice to see you. I can't believe you're home, not visiting some exotic destination as usual.
I'm only here for a week before I go to Delhi.
I knew it. You don't stay one place for long, do you?
You were saying you're going to Delhi.
Yes, I have to travel quite a lot for my job, and we've got a big project starting in India soon.
It's quite a long flight, isn't it?
About 7 hours, I think. But I just came back from Australia a couple of weeks ago, so it doesn't seem too long to me.
I remember the last time I did that trip. It's really exhausting, don't you think?
I know what you mean. After that trip, I was hoping for some short trips to Europe, you know. But guess where I had to go next? Japan.
And here are the answers. Number 1, you were saying you're going to Delhi. Number 2, it's quite a long flight, isn't it? Number 3, I remember the last time I did that trip. 4, don't you think? 5, I know what you mean. And 6, guess where I had to go next. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Share this video with other people you think might need it in order to find out how to continue conversations more effectively. I'll see you next time on next video. Don't forget to subscribe.